Let me get my earpiece in. I just finished a live where I did a long overdue, and I had a lot of fun doing that. And I know it's not published. I had a lot of fun doing that, and I was surprised because I had a bunch of people hop in the middle of the night. I don't expect too many people to hop in on this one because it's 1:52. But when I got done with that, I had this light bulb moment, and this is kind of about changing. That was fun and enjoyable, but there was kind of a dark cloud because of the betrayal and foo-for-all that's gone on the last 3 days, and it's like a petulant child because it could have been dealt with easily in private. I have no idea what happened between Wednesday night when everything seemed normal and Thursday morning, and I realized that that kinda mixed in with everything, and I know that it's kinda weird when you walk into somebody's life at different points in their journey, and you don't really know what the journey was, you know, before you came in. You don't really know what the journey is gonna be even tomorrow or next week, at least with me, because I'm always changing and learning. And my light bulb moment, and I wanna share this with you guys, is that when you go for a very long time in your life without feeling like you have a voice, or when you share something, you get gaslit, or somebody really does a mind F, or whatever, denies, questions your memory, even though you have a near photographic memory that you didn't ask for. When you finally start finding your voice, and you know, there's a whole learning process. It's kind of like coming out of a coma. And it's been bits and bobs of coming to this place in my life. And I realized in some ways I went from being stoic and using humor and kind of a little bit of snarkiness or sarcasm to express myself, instead of being able to just directly say, or being able to go, "Listen, I didn't break this, so I can't fix it. I can't take responsibility for something I broke, and I don't read minds. So, and I don't pick up passive aggressive always or subtle hints. Have a conversation with me." But I realize that you can also get really too serious because all of a sudden somebody's listening. Somebody's validating that you have a story, and sometimes it helps them, but I don't want to become stuck in that place because doing that unboxing was so much fun, and I had people come in, more people than I expected, and but then there was this kinda serious dark cloud, and that's kinda been there for the last 3 months or so. Um, and I kinda wanna hopefully kinda switch gears because I'd like to be in that place on my channel where we can kinda share and we can have, just a lot of fun. We can create, we'll probably end up cooking, we may end up fixing cars or doing, whatever. In fact, the picture I wanted to put up was of a rare fire rainbow, but it wouldn't upload, right now, and it was because it was a rare phenomena, and it was like and this is where I'm at, you know, you a lot of you people came into my journey in a time of great flux and change, of going from being very stoic, keeping close to the vest, not really feeling, much worth or people would wanna hear me, um, hear my story, or let alone if I share it, validate it, to a place where trying to find your footing. Um, and I mean, God's been working for years. We've been working on this stuff since I was 11 and I met his son, and that was what, 49 years ago. But I there's going to be times where I ramble or times like on Wednesday where I feel the nudge to share something about my journey and my views because a lot of people put you in a pigeonhole. You start talking about God, then you must be religious, and I'm not religious. I just have a passionate relationship, which is what I think God always intended and wanted. I mean, all you have to do is read the Bible cover to cover, and it's a love story. Why did his son come? Because of love. So there's gonna be moments where we're gonna wander in different areas. My story's gonna intertwine or come up, but I really wanna kinda flip the channel or flip the tables, and I want this to be a place where we can have less kinda drama wandering and hopefully have fun, because that unboxing was a lot of fun, and I really appreciated people who wandered in and shared the moment with me, shared the joy of what I was blessed with, you know, the surprises, the expected and the unexpected. Um, but I also knew that this stuff that happened unexpectedly starting Thursday and then Wednesday and um I mean, started happening just out of the blue on Thursday and was totally immaturely handled and only maybe 5% true and spilled over into Friday in just like a bad way. And then today, really put a bind on somebody that I care about. Dragged them into something that shouldn't have been in, and it was clickbait. That made it hard not to address because I've been trying to let go and forgive and process. And I've been praying for the person because I care about them, and that's what makes it hard. But also praying that people don't pick up an offense that's not theirs, because you can't resolve an offense that's not yours. But I realize that kind of seriousness has kind of crept into my life because of, you know, I've had many hard years and been through many things, but the last 6, well, my whoosh, I think we filled 9 encyclopedia sets with stories there. But there's a lot of micro blessings and things that you find in those moments and what God's done. And so anyway, um, I'm not gonna make this long. I probably as much fun unless I can edit the last video, because I did add some things at the end to just kind of in a vague and general way address this brewing situation. I mean, I figured after I 50 minutes in, somebody says leave, and I politely leave, and on the way out, they start a whole thing all over again. Um, that could have been done whenever they got whatever was in the crawl, and it could have been done privately and over and done instead of doing 3 clickbait videos in order to get people on your side or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. And I don't really care, because I can't fix what I didn't break. I've apologized on Thursday. I'm sorry that I offended or upset you. I'm sorry something happened to get under your craw. Talk to me. Let me know what it is. And instead, all of this stuff. And today took the cake for me. But I'm going to try and leave that here, and hopefully they're done playing this game and causing a lot of collateral damage and hurt that's been totally unnecessary. But I understand also when somebody's hurting and they're wounded, they will hurt others to feel better. It just happens, and it's very sad. And this has been heartbreaking because I care. I care about the person. I see glimpses of the good in them. And but this is what life is. And I expected the enemy to come in. Yes, the enemy, I believe, is real. I've been to third world countries, and I've seen the reality that we kind of blow off here as Americans. I haven't seen any. I'm trying to watch chat just in case anybody pops in, because I know somebody's watching. And I knew on Wednesday, when I made the decision to follow a nudge on my live to veer off from the jar koozies into just sharing a piece of myself and becoming vulnerable and not like worrying about my numbers or worrying about whether or not somebody was offended, because you can turn off the channel, turn the volume down. You can come to me in private and talk to me. You don't have to agree with me. I was just clarifying something about myself, that I'm not religious. I just have a relationship that is 49 years old, and if I'm going to talk about my best friend or my pop or my earthly father or any of my chosen family members or my dear friends, I'm going to talk about my best friend. My best friend who is with a trio that has given me the strength and the courage and made provision and has been redeeming and providing in all areas and making sense of all that I've gone through for 49 years. That's so I knew I was taking a risk, and I knew that the enemy gets mad when you do that. I just was not expecting someone I cared about and was a good friend to just go off the rails. And I have had to process that, but I want to just come on here and put this video out, that I want to have more fun videos where I can just show you what I'm working on, where I can learn things. Thank you, Shay Shay. It's good to see you. It's kind of late in the night. I hope that helped you. Where we can share more fun moments, where like the unboxing, I just had so much fun for about an hour and a half. I haven't posted that as public because this cloud, in a general vague way, like I've talked about it right now, it came in. You're very welcome, Tisha. I try my best. I know a lot because of the brain God gave me. I don't know why. Why he gave me the personality he did, why he gave me the brain he did, why he made me a storyteller, extreme extrovert, and why he gave me 19 encyclopedia sets worth of stories and adventures. I wasn't in on that discussion. Or why he allowed some of what he allowed, and I don't think he wanted some of it. But there were good people that did nothing because they were afraid. So I want to flip the channel, flip the switch on the channel, but I'm tired. And I'm going to try and, they'll be meandering, but try and find some more of the funny things and get less out of the weeds of the serious things. I'm always learning something. I learn something new, and usually more than one new thing a day. And I'm not always right. And I think anybody who listens to me will hear when I say, like Shay Shay with the cutting bit that I put in there, because she asked, find what works for you. Find what's comfortable. Find a rotary cutter that works. I'll go to bat for this rotary cutter because it works for me. It's the bomb. And I'll be honest with you. When I finally got to this rotary cutter, after using it for a week and a half, I was ready to throw it at the wall. User error. I didn't know there was a video out there, and it popped up in my feed from Sobecca. Hey, this is how you use this. Oh, good. I'm glad that you will. I'm excited to see that, Shay Shay. I'm glad that you came on, because I know it's late. But, she came on and showed how to change the blade, and then she showed this wonderful thing of how to hold it. Morning, Nan. And it was like, poof, and I realized that they put a dull blade in the cutter. So I changed the blade like she showed. I started using it, and I thought I finally found what works for me and my 2 types of arthritic hands. But it may not work for you. There's a ton of rotary cutters. I think I probably have 10 or 15 that I picked up on sale at estate sales, at yard sales, or whatever. Find what works for you. I don't think that shows that I know everything. So, morning, Nancy. Morning, Karen. So I just, like I said, I just did an hour and a half live that I haven't posted. It was great fun. I think I even had like 10 people commenting, and I'm like, woo! No, literally 10 people watching, and that was amazing to me. I mean, it's amazing that I have 6 people in here. Morning, DJ. It's good to see you. You guys are up late. I know you're on the East Coast, but that, and I've had a lot, a lot of support and a lot of encouragement, and this gives oxygen to my journey, and God sees so many of you in ways that you don't know, and I'm so blessed, and I just want you to know that, and I am trying to catch cues. I'm trying to, you know, be respectful. I do struggle when I seem to get picked out and people are doing the same exact thing that I'm doing, and it's like, okay, but I'm the bad guy. But that's type of thing. I think we're early birds. And see, this is the thing. When you have some past or a history where there's a pokey spot and that spot keeps getting pokeyed, you gotta learn. So, I know we've talked about intro video and stuff, and it's kind of hard because I am a wanderer and I do a lot of things, and I'm a jack of many trades, and I don't know that I'm a master of any. Um, How is everybody doing? How you doing? Oh, that's New York, not New Jersey. What is that? Shut up! That's what a New Jersey person would say. And it's not bad, but like I went to buy fabric from somebody and she's been here for a while, and every other sentence was, no, shut up! Get out of here! And I looked at her, as my sister was walking out to the car to get something. I said, you're from Jersey, aren't you? And she goes, how'd you know? She says, nobody picks it up. And I said, I just do. I just do. Oh, West Coast, so it's earlier. That's good. Um, and that's not, some people would take that as an insult, but if you know people from Jersey, you know, they have certain phrases like that are like shock or surprise or not. No, not really. And it kind of cracks me up. And New Yorkers are famous for what doing. Anyway, I love you guys and I appreciate you very much. Um, there's a really good group of people that God's brought into my life in the last, well, let's see, I've been watching Rita probably for 3 years now, or 3.5 years, and then she started doing the lives, and then last winter I got brave enough to get up on a live, and felt like a court jester, and it started something, but it also was part of the journey to find balance and middle ground for me. Um, so, what are you guys up to tonight at this? I know we have a couple West Coasters out there, but I know we have some East Coasters. What are you guys up to tonight? Because I just thought I would just slip this video out. But it's always fun to have somebody come in. Like I said, I did an unboxing, and there were all these like incredible fabrics in it, and I mean big old huge box. This was from the third package, and they picked out some kicking fabrics from your piece and your quilt. I can't wait to see your first quilt top. If you cut, it depends, Shay. You said you felt like your blade was already dull or dullish. Some of it depends on the type of blade you got and how much cutting you're doing. Some blades will last for quite a while. Some blades, after cutting a whole quilt shop, yeah, really, after cutting a whole quilt, top, will, well, yeah, or you can, if you want it a little bigger and you don't want to keep adding blocks, you can add, if you can find a matching, this is just an idea, you can add a sashing to the outside, a strip of fabric on the outside, and make it bigger that coordinates with it. A lot of people do that when, it depends on the blade. I get these Alpha, it's a pinking shear, now I can't find one, but I get these Alpha
endurance blades. Yeah, endurance, and they cut twice as long. I got a bunch when they were at a cheap or at an estate sale, and their endurance. You can go on Amazon and get titanium ones, and I've heard the titanium ones last for a lot longer. But it depends on what you're cutting and how much you've cut. And usually you can tell when it's getting dull because it'll drag, or it'll get those little cuts in it, or you'll have spots where it doesn't seem to cut through. Now sometimes that isn't your blade. Sometimes that's the user error because you're not putting even pressure as you go down. Um, Nan, you made some gnomes at a craft. We with some friends last weekend. We used your video. Wow, that's just exciting and awesome. You're very you're very welcome. Well, they may have because I've been doing it for a long time, and it was trial and error. So I really appreciate that. You're up and sleepy, DJ, but you're listening. I imagine you are enjoying your weekends off. Um, and I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit because I have fun in the room. But you can get one of these too, Shay, if you can find it on sale. It's a Omni Grid rotary blade sharpener, and you put your blade in one side, and you put this on and you twist it, and it's like a sharpening stone for a rotary cutter blade, and then you do the other side, which is finer. Um, I think it works. I don't use it often. Um, there's a lot of factors. If you've cut a lot of fabric, like a needle, you may need to replace it. You may have gotten just a standard blade, and they don't last near as long as, say, endurance or whatever. See, I put this on to protect my board, and so you're in like secret door. But I have these are all used blades. I love these cases, but these are used blades because they're still good to put into a thread cutter, or if I have to cut cardboard or leather or something like that, pop this in one of my other graveyard and use it. I could try sharpening it. That does work a bit. I wonder if there's any snacks in here. Stickers. Reese's Pieces. I have to hide things. Because if I don't hide some of my snacks or put them up high or something like that, my dogs, especially the youngest one, would go on a hunt. So I'm trying hard, and I have a lot. There's a lot to my onion. It's amazing the consequences of life that can leave you, but I want this to be a fun place. I want to be a more fun person when I'm out and about amongst the English, or amongst people, as the Amish would say. Be safe out amongst the English. Because that's just naturally who I am anyway. But do I know everything? No. Do I know a little bit about a ton of subjects? Yeah, because I read a lot. I have insomnia. Don't sleep a lot. But anyway, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody who might come in and see this video later. Finding balance sometimes in our life, in different areas at different points in our journey, can be a whole trip in of itself. But yeah, I needed to do this delayed unboxing because I have all these patterns that were sent to me in one box, and there's a lot of cool patterns, but they need to be put away, so I'm not tripping over the box. And then I got sent these cool templates, and there's one of them. I got to get a couple others to make it work, but they can go in the template drawer. Oh, and my sister, I didn't show these, but my sister claimed these as soon as they're little metal stars, and she saw them in the bag because she has to see when a surprise box comes. What'd you get? I don't know. Oh, open it. And she saw these and go, they're mine. Um, because she does woodworking when she's having a good day, and it's good for her to do that. I've done some woodworking. Okay, which one is the template drawer? Oh, it's hiding. Ah, there it is. Down there. So I can put these away. I did have this one that I got. It's the mini Dresden plate, because I wanted to do the rounded mini Dresden. I want to do a regular Dresden, but I need to get those or make those templates. Okay, you can go back. But see, now I've got that put away where I can get to it. I got a box for my patterns. I'll get those put away. So, um, I, I appreciate those that join me tonight. I appreciate those that join me tomorrow. And I appreciate everyone. I mean, I can hardly believe that, like, in a month, I went from 2 subscribers to trying to start a channel and kind of limping along to find my feet and get more comfortable. And I'm working on some tutorials. I've had some problems with this bad hip. I take care of my sister, my chosen sister, who's 10 years older and now has a bad form of progressive dementia. I mean, there's a lot going on in my life, and I started this kind of back asswards because I didn't have a whole ton of videos lined up. And there are days where I go, I'm going to do a video, I'm going to do that tutorial, or I'm going to do that unboxing, and it's like 3 days of interruptions and chaos. Or I can't get motivated. Like, all day today, I could not get motivated. Trying to sort out this stuff. And then just the clickbait hit this morning. And I think that was worse, because it was hurting someone and causing division, more division. And it was just very immature. You say you respect someone and you do something like that, that isn't respect. That isn't support. That isn't showing your friendship. That's feeding something in yourself, in my humble opinion. But I had 7 people showed up, and it's 2:20 in the morning. And there's so much cool stuff in these boxes. I may have to do like a rerun unboxing, because some of this stuff I hadn't. This came in a package that I kind of bartered or made a deal for, because I wanted this cool skyline fabric, and it turned out cooler than I thought. I mean, check out these cats. I mean, I'm not a huge cat person, but check out these cats. I mean, is that not cool? Got a smaller piece in the first box, and this was kind of a surprise. This was a surprise piece. Where is that one? There's this one that cracks me up, because it's kind of how I felt lately. Where are you? I know you're near. Now I can't find it. Here it is. See? Look at this. Fold it right here. With the tabby tan flat out on the beach. Yes, this is cotton. This is I think this is a piece from Joanne's novelty line. Yep. So this is 100% cotton, and it's so good to use as a whole. But look at how they've made it so you can fussy cut it. And I've said, these guys, one of these sets of 3 could be Miss Rita with Rhonda and Lisa on one side, and then Shay and I on the other. So one could be one pack and one could be the other pack, and we're just kind of together, the kind of odd ones here with Miss Rita in the middle, and these over here with Miss Rita in the middle, or something. But it's very cute. But just, I mean, I was expecting in the first box just a piece of blue, not a whole box. And but now I can put away. But I wanted this piece of skyline fabric that I thought just had New York with the Twin Towers, and it turns out that it had six skylines from 1998, and that was like woohoo. Um, yeah, Nan. I just thought it was, you know, it is cute, Nan. I have a stack, a little stack of cat fabric because I have had two cats that I really loved in my life. And I take care of some feral cats so they don't starve. But my dog fabric takes up a whole quarter of a shelf because there's three and a half stacks, and now I have more to add to it and don't have room, so I'm gonna have to move it. Um, but and then the other, they didn't want to separate it, and they couldn't sell this, so they were trying to find somebody. But the other piece just has all the icons from like the five, I think, skylines, and then this really crazy Y2K fabric. And the biggest thing on this that cracks me up are these babies with their little butt cracks. I don't know what they're staring at, but it has something to do with the new year and Y2K. Um, but there's some fun things on here. It's kind of retro to look at. Um, Coastal Carolina. I live about 25 minutes from Wilmington, North Carolina, out rural. Um, so I lived closer into Wilmington, which is a big college town. And then when Deb married Tony in 2005, when he proposed, she said, well, you either gain a sister and accept Joe as part of the family, Joanna as part of the family, or the answer is no. If you can do that, the answer is yes. And so we found a place a little ways outside of town so we could have a little land and have chickens and have our dogs and have a little peace. Town was growing a lot at that time. So I can get to the Atlantic Ocean in about 7 places in 20 to 30 minutes. But I came here in 1993 for a month a month's getaway from the situation I was in and the ministry I was in. That was, I couldn't see how authoritarian it had gotten and blah blah blah, and it was like, well, stay another month, and I found home and I found family. In fact, when I left and went to Germany for 4.5 months in, what's that, 97, I was homesick for the first time in my life. So I was, what, 30 something, and I was finally homesick because God had given me a family. But anyway, there's just a lot of fun fabrics in here and a lot of goodies. I got this Missouri, I put it in here because it was brand new and I wanted to see the templates. But these are 10-inch squares for each of the states in the United States. And I've been wanting to find some different size state patterns, and that's perfect because I can put it in. I thought, well, I can make different ones and put them in the bottom of a rope bowl in the center inside, or I can do a mug rug with it, or wall hanging, or things like that. But one of my favorite things, and I'm going to do over this, is this layer cake. It's the first thing when I opened the first box, and it's just so cool. It's got scissors, and then it's got flowers and stuff, and then it's got 3 different colorways of sewing machines, thimbles, just little things that look like they're in embroidery hoops. But I was just flabbergasted that someone would send me this in a packed box. But so we're gonna, and then let's end with kind of this. Look at this. Now, is that not just adorable? If I can get it. With all the little wintry animals. This is a Susan Wingate, Wilmington print. And she's an artist I really like. She does a lot of gnome prints, and this is kind of her style. Now, she does do some that are very similar, like it'll be a barn scene, and it'll just have subtle differences. But that most of her stuff is just pretty phenomenal. Oh, oof, oof, oof. But see, now I can get all this straightened out and kind of put away, um, which is good because I've just kind of been tripping over it, waiting to share it with the world. It is. It is kind of retro. Um, so, um, but I just, unless I can edit, I don't know that I'll put that other video up. Um, and I've got a lot of projects to work on. I'm just excited that you guys made those gnomes. I've been meaning to condense it into like a 20-minute tutorial, and every time I sit down to work on that, there's an interruption. And what happened Thursday and Friday, and then kind of like the kick in the groin today with that, because I stumbled on that clickbait, even though I'm not part of it anymore. Just took the wind out of my sails, and I had to try and fix my bed today, um, which didn't get finished. um, Maybe tomorrow, because I need my bed back from my hip. But yeah, there's a lot going on, um, and there's a lot positive going on, and so that's get back to that. Here you go. Look at this. This is so fun. They did a black they did a black background for this, and I didn't know it. I think it was Rita showed it in the black, and I went searching and I could only find a yard. I would love to find a couple yards of this in the black, because it's either dropping eggs. Some of them like this green one up here, flying egg. And there's a couple other prints that go with it. I think I cut this out to make a key fob, because if you cut it right, you can get one of these chickens in your key fob. You just have to, normally I'd use like a 3-inch strip of fabric because my key fob's 1 inch. But if you just cut this carefully, you see, you can get one of most of this chicken in your key fob just fine. It's not the best. I have a whole stack over here that's just smaller designs that line up well for doing key fobs. I may just end up using this for a little side wallet. But I was reaching for this. Want to work on this. Check out this wall hanging. Isn't that not just a lot of fun? And it's part of my UFO pile. Well, that's the hard part. Shay, and some people have vintage fabric or out of print fabric on the shelf because of that reason. Sometimes I think you just have to go for it. You find a place of confidence and you go, okay, I'm going to try this, and I hope I don't mess it up. And I have. I mean, last year I was working on that French braid table runner for my sister, and it has keystones or cornerstones down the middle, and she decided she wanted this Christmas dachshund to be the keystones. Well, I had to cut, I think it was 15 or 16, because there had to be ones that looked in this way and ones that looked in this way, and I started putting it together, and I had cut all of those squares wrong, because I had cut them not as a diamond, I had cut them as a square. So I had to put all of those aside and take another chunk of that fabric and do them as diamonds. Now, I will use those for something else. I have used them for different things. But it was like, oof, because they don't make that print anymore. And I kind of had it tucked away. But it's what you wanted. But I learned. I learned something, and it's not to waste because they're like 2.5 inch squares. This I'm thinking about using for the backing of this. But I could show you the table runner. I think I have it over here. But I learned something. And so it was a practice table runner, my first French braid, and it's in the UFO pile to do the last two steps. And I will have it done by the end of November. But the thing was I learned for the next two that I did for people, for my Sunday school teacher and somebody who wanted one um, at church. It should be, maybe it moved. I thought it was right here, but it's along, that's the hexagon. Now listen, I had it right here on this thing to finish for the last 3 months. Not 3 months, but the last couple, oh, here it is. Somebody's been up here moving stuff. Because there it is. Sorry, guys. Um, I knew it was here, but somebody climbed up there and made a bed. Push things off. Okay. Here it is, Shay Shay. And I didn't realize that the print was out of print, that they weren't going to bring it back this Christmas, except from flannel, but that's how you learn. But see here, this was my first French braid table runner. And normal people do solid colors here in the keystones or cornerstones. But somehow, I ended up doing these dachshunds that I had from this Christmas fabric, and all of these face this way, and all of these face this way. I had this Christmas candy fabric that it was a layer cake that my sister really liked, and when they had it 40% off at the quilt shop in like July, I grabbed it up, and then Deb was like, well, can you make a table runner, a fancy table runner? And of course then my Sunday school teacher and another lady wanted one. So this was my first run, and I just have to finish the quilting and put the binding on. And then she asked if she could have this crazy dog print paw and bone on the back, and she says it doesn't match. And I said it doesn't matter, it's your table runner, and when it's not Christmas you'll flip it over and you'll have something that's pretty, that's one of your favorite things. But yeah, I did end up with quite a few squares of dachshunds. 8. So I ended up with probably 18 or 20 dachshunds that I cut out, that I had to recut out. Oh, thank you, Karen. Thank you, Nancy. Yeah, but see, I had never made anything like this, and so I measured and I fussy cut and I got the little dudes in there, but I didn't think about when they actually went in here that they would go in as a diamond, and so I cut them out as 2.5 inch squares, which meant they wouldn't fit. Now those 16 2.5 inch squares are fine. They've been used in some other projects. They're sitting around for projects, and there was like, I think 2 of these that I replaced because their back end or something was really cut off. You can see these 2 I didn't. So I wasn't going for perfection, but if they were really missing, like their nose was getting cut off, but it was a learning experience, and what I learned from here made the other 2 easier to put together, and they got done. And this is actually a lot of fun to do. And it's really not a hard project to do, because you get your strips set up, sew your strips together, put it on some backing, stitch in the ditch the best you can to quilt it, then you just crop all this stuff off and put your binding on, and you have a very pretty table runner. But like I said, most people don't do this. But for the 2 others, I ended up doing a focal fabric instead of a plain fabric. And because of all that has gone on since last early November when I made this first one, it's sitting in the pile to be quilted and bound, which won't take long. And like I said, I have promised that by the first week in December, when she wants it, she'll have it. Um, but yeah, I like those. But it was a brave adventure. All of that. Sorry if I'm too detailed, but all of that. That sometimes you just have to go for it, and sometimes it can be a real oof, and sometimes it's like, well, I have to use that. It's not a loss. And then there's like this one. Nobody's claimed it. It needs the same thing, just quilted and bound. And this was kind of like, can I do it? And I did it. And so I will stitch in the ditch. This is in the UFO pile. I will iron it, stitch in the ditch, and then I'll put the binding on it, and it'll go somewhere. Um, and no, actually, Karen, you know what? The This is the funny thing. These were 2.5 inch strips, and I sewed them together, boom, 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 in a big long set. And then I took a ruler and I cut the triangles out. The hardest part was this center point, trying to get these pieces to match up in the center point, and you can tell that they're from a distance they look really good, but if you eyeball it, this dude's a little off. But I was just like, forget about it. Um, so I just wanted to see if I could do it. Because it looked complicated, but the directions said it was simple. And like I said, the only part that was hard for me was the center part. Because this is just straight strips cut into triangles. So um, so you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you did 2 sets of 5, so that you could alternate. And you don't have, and see, you could make a match, but I wanted to alternate to kind of give it the mirror effect or something. And once you have the strips sewn together, then you cut it in the pie shapes, and then put it on backing. And so, hey Rhonda, we're just wandering a little bit again. You're up late, or are you up early? You're an hour behind, so I think you're up late. So we're just wandering. I was showing a couple UFOs that I had, because Shay Shay was talking about um, being afraid to cut pretty fabric. Um, and mistakes sometimes are part of the learning process. And like I said, those scraps sometimes could be used for something else. I make these pocket prayer hearts that are about this, prayer squares, they're about this big. And you sew a cross inside so you can feel in your pocket, and it's just a good reminder if you're anxious. And I made 2 in a row where I was doing the hourglass, with the two. And when I trimmed them 2 inches instead of 2.5 inches. So I have 8 really pretty tiny hourglass blocks. I have to use it for a mug rug or something. Is it late or is it early? For me, I'm just early. But I didn't plan on staying on long, and it's almost been an hour because we got in here having fun and wandering. And I'll show you this other one real quick, that I put away over here. And I'm fixing to finally do the finish on it. It's been sitting far too long because I got distracted, and we're now coming back around to Christmas, even though the back doesn't look like Christmas. I don't know if you saw this. This was my first French braid. So this was to learn the technique, and then I made 2. 180 wanted a 61 inch, and 180 wanted a 64 inch. So the 64 inch, I made these strips 3 inches. These strips, this one and the one next to the center square, I made 3 inches to make instead of 2.5. So they're wide and the rest are normal. And then I was silly because I didn't do solid squares. I fussy cut and put, I tried to fussy cut, but it was just, you're very welcome, Nan Nan. It was, I do prototypes. I'll make a project sometimes 2 or 3 times, and it kind of stays close to home. Either I use it or it goes in the example bucket because it's like, ooh, shouldn't have done that, or ooh, I could improve on that. And a lot of times I'll use not lesser fabrics, but I'll use, um, that layer cake, the candy layer cake, was not a lesser fabric. But like with my angel, I'm not making any of those angels necessarily out of that green fabric. But I had a lot of it, so if it needed tweaking, which it does. Um, but yeah, there are projects all over here, and some of them are UFOs, and some of them are done. And I'm still putting things away. But that's kind of why I wanted to do the unboxing, and thankfully both people like. I'm working on some of these. My sister wanted some bibs, some adult dignity things. So this is just a cotton flannel, and I'm going to redesign the pattern a little bit because it's a little short. Shoot. Anyway, it's about that much short. You see, I think it should get down to the waistband. Just past the waistband, because when you're sitting there, you end up catching dribbles there. If for women, they'll catch it on their shelf, and they'll catch it here. So I'm gonna redesign this and add 4 inches to it, which won't be more than a half yard. And I've got a bunch of remnants of flannel, just cotton, simple thin cotton, and then I've got some other prints. So that's in the works. Lots of things in the works. But you guys are real special. Yay, I've got 9 people in here. I got 5 likes. And it's 2:45 in the morning. It's kind of exciting. I know that this is only like, well, I've done like 2 mess up videos. One didn't have any sound. And 2 of my lives that I started, the first one, the iPad fell off the tripod and landed on the desk about a minute in, and I punched the stop button and said, no, we're going to can that one. And the second one, it wouldn't it wouldn't do it, the orientation horizontal, so I walked away for a little while and redid it. So it's kind of an adventure. I mean, if you're kind of aware, you kind of get an idea of what goes into making videos, and I could, but I'm not really into spending large amount of times editing, and I really like lives because of the interaction, but we often don't think about all that goes into even just putting a live on, let alone a decent standalone video. We can get bits and bobs, but when you do it, it's like a whole learning adventure. And most people, they think about it, we're going to start a channel, they get a bunch of content stuffed away in the closet to pull out when they're first starting. They get a name, and they start pointing out content that they've been building up for 6 months or a year or whatever. Well, I thought about it for 2.5 years and just figured nobody wanted to talk to me, nobody needs another channel like mine or whatever. You know, all those things that are lies that rattle around your head or untruths that rattle around your head. And then God pushed me in the deep end of the pool and says, okay, it's time to do this. And it's been kind of, so we're working on it. We're working on it here. And I'm really ready to just kind of have some fun again. And that box opening was just so much fun. And maybe I can edit the video to edit out some of the bits and bobs that were because of this dark cloud. But it did give, see, I learned something. And it did kind of give me a revelation in a direction. That's good. And you see some of my strangeness because I got my dinosaur and rope bowl, and I have my snacks up here because that's one place the basset hand can't swipe them. I got this at a vintage place. It was new and inexpensive. This belonged to my grandmama and goes back probably to the 20s, early 1900s anyway, and has, most of these books are one author and my favorite author, but not all. And then there's stacks of buttons because they need to be put away. So I got chaotic organization, and some things I'm still finding because I've moved everything around. After I started the channel, it was like I've been trying for 3 years to get this main part of my creative nook fixed up. And it was finally, okay, I'm going to be doing videos. I feel like claustrophobic. The furniture isn't right, but I haven't been able to use this shelf for that shelf with fat quarters and special fabric and my layer cakes and stuff for 6 months because it was crammed in this corner, and I'd have to crawl under this cutting table to get anything, and you'd see my one little leg and my stump going, and if I got stuck, I'd have to call somebody to pull me out. So it's very inconvenient, and it just got to be a mess. But that's a little more involved when you're rearranging. And I think I had this area for when I restarted sewing 4 years ago. After kind of basically walking away, I had this main little area. And it's remained that way. But for about 2 years, my sister didn't come in the den anymore. She didn't come in to have dinner in here. She didn't come in to use the TV. She just, and so about 2 years in, she just, 2.5, I think it was, she just said, well, I'm not ever really coming to hang out in the den anymore. Just take it as your little, like, whole creative nook. Well, that's great, except for when you have all kinds of things going on. So anyway, I don't know that I want to keep y'all too long. Well, exactly, Karen. I moved that shelf finally, got the batting shelf in the corner over there, or cart, and I moved this shelf. And as soon as I got that shelf, I realized it looked like a tornado had hit it. Because number one, my brother had knocked over this stack of fat quarters that was probably 100 deep, and it got put back up there like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And I also realized that both had been put in there but backwards, so they had to be turned around, and then all 3 shelves had to be sorted. And then I had to find my cutting table, and I had to find my work table. Well, my original work table, my iron station, and my chair, because things got set there. And then I finally got tired of looking at the batting that's been a mess for like 2 years. Oh, it's batting, go up here. Because I couldn't find things. So yeah, it's a mess before it gets settled, and I'm far from where I want to be, especially with that side of the room. But I'm at least now kind of at a place where I can, get more projects done. But I was at a place with this area, because of the way it was arranged, I felt like I had this much room. I had just enough room where I was at the cutting table like this all the time, and this much space. And it was like, okay, we've gotten too crowded and this isn't working. I can't use all this fun material really. So it's like me, a work in progress. Look, I probably should get something for my eyes. They're really dark after yesterday. You know, but I was just getting old, that's all. I would lose my hair, lost my teeth. So, but yeah, I just appreciate it. It's kind of nice that there's 9 people up. You know, sometimes it's a journey just to do that. Breathe deep and know that you're okay and that the world, even though the world's cray cray, it's gonna end up being okay. Um, and that there's really good people in it. And that's what you gotta hold to, and that when people go off the deep end or injustice happens, you know what, God's gonna make it right. And I love community. I love doing, like, I pulled this out and had it sitting there, and we were looking at the cats, and I can't remember, but somebody said, ooh, that make good binding. And all of a sudden, I got all kinds of ideas. And, like I need any more ideas. I've got ideas all over the place. um, I think that's a, what is that? Nope. Somewhere around here is a drawstring. These are for pouches or something. Over here, I've got a whole bunch of cut for bowl koozies, so I can just grab them. There's just bits and bobs. But we're getting there. We're getting there, which is exciting. So, um, but I probably should take something for this hip and um, try and catch a cat nap or get something done. I just lost all my motivation today. Um, yesterday, everything this week, yesterday afternoon, yesterday hit me like a ton of bricks, and not Saturday, but Friday hit me like a ton of bricks and sucked. You know, I had a boulder the size of Siberia and Asia combined dropped on me, and the emotional stuff is the hardest for me to sort through. And this morning I got up with all kinds of plans, and I didn't even get my bed fixed. It's been busted for a while, and I want my waterbed back, but we'll get there. But somebody sent me, in the first package, sent me this great mister. And I'm so excited because I wanted to try one of these. But I think right there, I'm going to stick a sticker, like maybe, look, maybe I'll put the one, I guess I have to, maybe that one's too big. I got a little one. Maybe this one. What about that? I can put the Doxy barbecue sticker on there, and then it's like, see, because it's almost like a patchwork dachshund. And then the dachshund and I can keep calm and quilt on. But I'm excited to try this because the one, I have two, and they work decent, but they're not built very well. This one keeps losing its head, and that's not what you want to do. See, it's lost its head and it keeps flying off. But I got two of these for like $7 at Walmart a couple years ago, and they spray decent. I think this will give me the finer mist, but I don't know. But I just needed a if you ever see in my videos over there on my batting table, I think I have about 5 different bottles I've tried. I went to Home Depot and rated Home Depot for different bottles because I was looking for the right spray. So if you want something like this that works decent, Wally World, but you have to be careful because sometimes it loses its head, because this one won't keep its head on anymore. Like poo. Pooh-bah. But yeah, and I have a couple others that are bigger. I have this horse one. You want a good sprayer if you're doing a lot of material, even just with water. Now this has vodka in it to give it a little body. Vodka and water to give it a light starch. But this horse sprayer, yeah, a horse sprayer. This horse sprayer, it sprays upside down if you need it to. Fine mist. Holds a lot. I don't have to refill it as often. Now I have to refill it because I had to go to the store last week and get some vodka to make some more. But he's like 25% vodka and 75% water, and I like it better than Best Press, or it doesn't flake, gives it just a little bit of body, it'll wash out, and it works. So this one's particular. That other one just had water. But I tell you what, this was from the feed store, and I saw it, and it said 360 upside down. You can adjust the spray. When you're doing a lot of project, a lot of fabric that needs to be ironed or needs just a little bit more body, that's my favorite. But I got four others. I got like 3 other types over here, and I set it somewhere else. But I even got a 1-gallon pump sprayer to see that's got a hose and a handle, and you pump it, and you just don't lose your head. And that's what you do. You just end up trying a bunch of stuff, and you figure out what works for you. And sometimes what works for you, because you've gone through the trial and error, helps somebody else. I think it was Carolina Moore was saying she got this magnet for $6.99 from a place called Harbor Freight we have here. And this is a magnet, but the cool thing, and I figured they make them, but I hadn't found one, at least not that. Look, it telescopes. So if I drop pins or anything metal on the floor, I don't have to bend over or crawl around on my butt because I don't have 2 knees. I can just telescope it like this, and bloop, 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 and it snaps things up. So, see, she went to, and I spotted this at a Harbor Freight, which is like one of our cheap tool places here for those that aren't in the United States. And then I went looking. Now, I almost left Harbor Freight without it because I didn't figure they had it in the welding section and not with the rest of the magnets. Ended up having to get the manager out because the other lady that worked the cash register didn't know where it was. But things like that, she found it, and I go, ooh, I like that because I have this other thing. Don't have one over here, I don't think right now. But I have this other thing, and I have 2 or 3 of them, and it's by Dirt, and it's a wand. And right now it's not in my drawer. It's a wand, and it's got a good little magnet head area, and it works for cleaning up your table. But if you're trying to find something on the floor, a needle you dropped or something, you gotta be low to the floor. You gotta be able to bend over and reach your toes, or be able to get on your knees. So that was like, whoa, cool. And those are the type of things like, ooh, this is... Now, Carolina Moore, she had fun with it. I hope I have the right person I saw it. She did a short, and she said, watch this. She took a whole doggone thing of pins and dropped boink, boink, boink all over the floor and said, now watch this. And she did that, I think, a couple times on the video. It's funny, because usually you don't take a whole tub of tins and drop it on the floor. I'm going to make this my own. Dun, 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 dun. And hopefully in my tiredness, because the other one's too big. So now I got a wiener. Oh, come on. But this, this I picked up at this place that sells meat. They have really good sandwiches at lunch that are a good deal. But it was a free sticker advertising this barbecue, and I picked it up and I put it on my shelf because I like doxies. And I figured the perfect place would come along. Now look at that. You can't beat that. You got kind of like a quilted doxy, quilted wiener on your bottle. And he ain't gonna lose his head. He's gonna keep calm. And then you got the nice quilted stars. Ah, yeah, I'm excited about that. Boom. Now all I have to do is figure out how to pop it. Oh, this one just pops off. It doesn't look like it. Oh, it does lock on. But it has a finer thing than, this is designed in Holland. It says designed in Holland. But I guess it blinks down and then it turns. But yeah, I was not expecting the love. Ooh. Okay. Now you've lost your head. But see, it's got this thing where it goes in, and it's got like a arrow, but it doesn't have like a reciprocating arrow. So I may have to have someone smarter than me. Oh, maybe it's like that. May have to have someone smarter than me get it back together. But there we go. If nothing else, that's going in. But see, look at this. It says, taking it one stitch at a time. Now, how true is that? That was a clearance at Hobby Lobby for $2.49, and I loved it. So I had used it for my bits and bobs till I found this today. I found this at my friend's small vendor mall in her booth. And I thought, ooh, I really like that. Now, it says microwave and dishwasher safe, but I'm not sure what you'd put in this without a handle. But I thought, and I don't know that it's going to work for my bits and bobs like my coffee mug did. My quilted coffee mug did, but we're going to figure that out. Because I kind of wanted to use that. I did get this one for a different vendor. And it says the life is better with chickens, and it's pottery. And I got one for my sister Deb because I know how much she likes chickens. And I had coffee, decaf coffee this morning. I know how much she loves chickens. Well, when I came home with it, she said, you only got one? She didn't. I said, well, she had 3. She says, well, I want one. I want to buy you one because I got it for her to cheer her up. She says, well, I want you to, here's the money. I want to get one for you so we have matching mugs. So it was funny. Hi, Lynn. So you just woke up. Well, it's 3 o'clock. My second live to kind of do over, maybe. And then I got to chatting. You know. But it's fun. I gotta figure out how to get the interactive going. And thank you, Rhonda. Yeah, I've been really, really blessed. I think it's Shay Shay. I'm gonna blame it on Shay Shay because she popped in and started the conversation. I'm just teasing you. I know I see Lynn and Shay Shay and Nan and Karen, and I know Rhonda popped in. So that's what, 4, and it says that there's 8. So there's somebody lurking, which is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But yeah, I just plan to come in for about 20 minutes and leave an Easter egg for the morning. Never seems to work, does it? It's kind of funny that we have such early birds and night owls. And I need to clean up my shelf up there because it took me 3 years of promises to get 2 of my 3 shelves up for some of my collectibles and stuffies and Henry the gnome that I won from Joe, the vintage Joe lady. And it was interesting because when I won it, she said his name's Henry, and that was my dad's middle name, which made him more special. And I've been adding things. I put some hooks on the end to put a vintage tin angel that I found in Tryon, North Carolina, and a gnome that I want to figure out how to make, and some chicken earrings that dance with boots. And then bits and bobs, like I got the thing I got from Donnell. Got this cool duck. It looks kind of like a doxy. And I need to get some others that Donnell's husband and I believe son made. I got, my sister-in-law gave this to me from the Petrified Forest. I got all kinds of things. I got these keychains that I'll probably end up giving away that were on clearance at Hobby Lobby, but they were cool, and for like a quarter, I thought I'd use them for something. This one says quilting quilting is the key to joy, and this one says just a few blocks away from happy. It's got a little bling in the middle. So you never know what might be up here on the shelf. Angel pin up. Cat down. Cat down. Nearly, the cat went down and nearly knocked the wooden owl off the shelf. Now how bad is that? That sounds about right. Cats knocking things off shelves. Well, I'm glad that you joined in, Karen. I'm building a channel. I had thought about doing a channel for about 2.5 years and just kept, there were valid excuses, but they were like, kick it down the road. Then about a month or so ago, I kind of got, and it's good because I think it was God finally said, get off the fence and do this. But it was like being thrown into the deep end, and I didn't have a vault of stuff all ready to put up. Find a name and put it up. So I've kind of done it back-asswards, but I'm really figuring it out as I go. So I want to, so I appreciate you joining, Karen. It's good to see you, Lynn, and everybody else who's lurking. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate the patience and the encouragement, because I'm going to get, I have a list of tutorials to do, but I think I put the Abbey in normal in my life because of the interruptions, and I have a lot of other creators that have encouraged me that you just take it as it comes, and like I did this one video, my first unboxing video, and it had no sound when I got done, and I've heard that happens sometimes, so then I had to figure it out. So, well, thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it. I really do. I really do. So, and you never know what might pop up. And see, I think that's why I chose not, although I do a lot of crafting and sewing, and I'll be working on quilting on this channel, there are so many things that I do and that I like to do, and I write, I read, I cook, I bake. Sometimes I have to fix the car, sometimes I have to lay a floor, I had to fix the wiring in my light so that the light would turn on. So you might not ever, you don't know what might pop up in the adventure, so that's why. But I really do appreciate it, Lynn. Like, you can go back to the beginning and listen, because for a person like me, you come in a part of my journey where I may be trying to find balance in something, or I'm discovering something new. And so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty exciting to me that I had 8 to 10 people pop in at this hour of the morning. And I know this goes out all over the world, so some people are just getting up and doing their morning. Some people, because of the time zones, but it's just pretty cool because, like I said, I was just going to come on for about 20 minutes, say something, and pop out. And we've been kind of popping all over the place instead. I gotta figure out something to do with that mess up there. It's starting to bug me. Oh, there's my rope basket kit. I got my winder up there. I did straighten this out. This has a bunch of fabric that I've been working with but also needs to get put away. And it just got put there because it was a good puka to put it in. But I'm excited because I emptied 2 boxes. I got to share it. And now I can put it away, which will give me more walk space here, especially when Dementia Dog wants to sleep down here because she has claimed a good third of this show. So anyway, I'm going to go because I did an hour and a half earlier and I'm just shy of an hour and a half now. So I'm going to try and get a little rest and then maybe I'll actually get something done. We just started Sunday. So thankfully His mercy is new every morning and hopefully today will be no more atomic bombs from a petulant child and things will calm down a little bit and settle. It's been good to see you, Karen, too. Nan, good night or good morning. Well, Shay, there you go. Yeah, I've had insomnia since I was 7, so I've learned to live with it, but when there's a train wreck that comes into your life unexpectedly or a high stressor or something like that, it magnifies. And even if I'm really tired, exhausted, it does that. It doesn't matter. I finally figured out in January, God went, doink, this is why you have insomnia, and I've had it almost 53 years. But those, when I made peace with it 25 years ago, instead of fighting and warring with it, and figured out how to work with it, some of those insomnia hours have produced marvelous things. Given or I found some insight or learned something or whatever. So good night, good morning, good night. I really do love y'all. I do appreciate ya, and I hope that you have a very blessed Sunday. And then I hope that we see you out there sometime today because there's a lot of, and that's part of doing videos too. Because I like doing lives and I'd like to get to the point where I can figure out the best way to have some of you guys pop up so we can just have fun on my channel and crack up. But I also am cognizant of people who've helped me get here, like Miss Rita. And so I don't want to conflict with that if I can. I mean, Wednesday morning, I forgot it was Wednesday morning, duh, and it should be in the shop, so I think I overran by about 45 minutes. But I did get on a rabbit trail that I felt like I needed to chase. So that was an oops. I didn't have an alarm on like Randy does, and an alarm on and something to tell me the day so I can be there at the minute, but it wasn't out of disrespect to try and compete. And so sometimes it's kind of, Joe was on the other morning, I was going to go on, and Joe was doing her 3rd live, and it's like, we got to get vintage Joe because she has great stuff, but we got to cheerlead her because she's doing awesome and breaking into something new. She's got a lot of tutorials and a lot of good videos out there. I think she said over 400, but this is like our 3rd live. So stand down, interrupt, tweak. It's just the way I am, so. Oh, 2 grandbabies. Oh, yeah, Shay, I'll see you later. Maybe I miss Rita's or I may pop up. I really do want to get I want to try and knock down my first tutorial and see how good or the good, the bad, the ugly. um, but I do love you. So I've done my long southern goodbye. You guys have a wonderful rest of your morning or night as you're tucking in, and have a blessed Sunday. And you know, with all its cray-cray and intensity and extremes and valleys and mountains, really is a kind of crazy, wonderful life. You know, there's always stuff out there. So good night, Lynn and Karen and Shay Shay and the lurkers. Again, I appreciate you popping in. And I will talk to y'all soon. Loves ya. Find the button. Press the button.